have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, Radical Personal Transformation, Whole Life Prosperity and Success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, I am so glad you did. I am profoundly grateful that you made the choice to listen in today. And if you're returning, welcome back. If you're not, welcome in for the first time. This show is about personal and professional development, quantum leap goal achievement, radical personal transformation, and helping to move you from where you are to where you want to be, whether you're just working on something in your individual life for you, your family, whether you're a small business owner, perhaps an entrepreneur, and you want to grow your business, you want to improve in every aspect of your life and business, or whether you're in the corporate environment on a corporate team, doesn't matter if you're a C-suite executive or somewhere else in management, supervisory role, or a person that is front facing the consumer day in and day out, wherever you are in the organization, what I share with you can help you to improve not only your life, but the results that are showing up in your life and help you get the results you want to experience in your life by doing things in what we call a certain way. A certain way. It was described in a book by Wallace Wattles called The Science of Getting Rich. Just about every coach, consultant, mentor, advisor is familiar with that book and with doing things in a certain way. If they're not, well, you probably want to listen to somebody else to get some suggestions from. Because there's some basic things, I'm a metaphysician. I'm not a medical doctor. I am a doctor, but I'm a metaphysician, which is someone that looks at the underlying nature of things, looks at the laws of cause and effect within and without. So there's things that we do, there's things in the way that we operate that are at cause for the results showing up in our lives. So when we look at something that we don't want, and we look at some results that we keep experiencing over and over and over again, well, we don't go and attack the results. We don't go and beat ourselves up for what's showing up. We got to go all the way back to cause. What is the cause of the results that I produce that I'm responsible for? That's a key word there too. You have to take responsibility for everything that's showing up in your life. So last week I kind of simplified things because the previous episode I was looking at I went kind of deep into the metaphysics of manifestation. There's a lot of episodes if you would go back on the 5-step manifestation process and moving your desires from the invisible world of non-form into the visible world of form. Plenty of episodes on that. You can go right to the website, thegenesisfrequency.com, or really wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and just search on manifestation or creation, things like that. But last week I got simple. I got real simple and offered 5 fast ways that you can implement immediately, start practicing immediately, start to develop the habits of doing these things immediately that will jumpstart your own personal and professional transformation. And you heard me right. I use personal and professional all the time because these things that I share aren't something that you just use, well, well, when I'm working on me, I'm a work in progress. And then you go to work or you go to the office or the corporate environment or you're involved in the corporate culture and you shut this off and you don't do them. It doesn't work that way. This is your life we're talking about. This is how you're showing up. You probably heard of the be, do, have model. You have to get the order right. It's about what you're being. So everything that I'm talking about can bring you results that are tangible and intangible. So we look at the intangible aspects of character, and we also look at the tangible things. What do you want to create in your life? What's the goal? What's the dream? What do you want to be, do, and have in your life? How do you want to show up? So last week, what I offered, just real quick recap, was to fast, right, or to abstain, not from the donuts and the cookies. That might not be a bad idea too, but we were fasting. We made a commitment. Hopefully, you made the commitment. Go listen to last week's episode. We made a commitment to fast from complaining, to fast from judgment and condemnation, to fast from negative thoughts, to fast from thinking about what you don't have, to fast from thinking about where is it that it's not here, and to fast from all the negative self talk. So, these are our habits just about everybody on the planet engages in, to one, from one extent to another. And it's just human nature to do all these things on this list. So I said, hey, let's do these. Let's do this fast, this abstinence for 21 to 30 days, because that's about the time it takes to integrate a new habit into your life and really make it a habit, because all these things here, the complaining, the judgment, the negative thoughts, thinking about what you don't want, all the negative self-talk, that's all habitual behavior. It's all part of our paradigm. Paradigms are a multitude of habits that have almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior, and this is one area of the paradigms that we're taking a look at now, because it's so general, everybody does this. And so I offered you, hey, let's make a commitment to consciously being aware of when we do these things and not do them anymore. Well, so often when we're working on habits, because habits are responsible for what shows up, right? Because we're doing them, habits are something that we're doing consistently every single day. You've probably heard consistent daily efforts bring me results. Well, that's true. So your consistent daily habits are what's bringing you the results you're experiencing now. And so often, number one, it's hard to identify if we don't really look for them, if we don't push back a little bit and say, hey, what am I doing how is my time being spent? What am I doing habitually? And take a good look at that. You're right. I'm spending a couple hours doing, something that's inefficient, ineffective, something that is not productive. So we have to, number one, we have to identify what these habits are. And so I just gave you a list of 5 of them last week to take a look at, to spend some time with, to notice about you if you're participating in these, and invite you to walk away from them for a period of 21 days to 30 days and form some new habits. And here's where the key comes in, because when we pull something out, when we pull out or go to work on a habitual behavior, and it's probably best to work on one at a time, to really focus on one, to look at that list of 5 and say, this one here, I am guilty and I do this one the most, and really get to work on that. Put most of your emphasis and effort on that and get to work on it. But any habit, when we're trying to eliminate it, to remove it from its seat of power, well, we have to put something in its place. We have to integrate a new habit or something else that will fill the void of the old habit. That's why you look at some of the habitual behaviors and the habits of just people in society and offenders and things like that. They usually do the same thing over and over and over again because it's a habit of thought. It's a habit of word. It's a habit of action. We're all creatures of habits. We all have paradigms. In fact, we call these paradigms our programming. And there's plenty of episodes that I've put out there on programming. So I don't want to get off. I want to talk about the replacement now. This is like if you're working in a Word document, you got a little button there. You can go in your Word document. You can put, maybe you got somebody's name wrong that you use throughout the document. You can put find and replace. So that's what we're doing with these habits. And we're going to stick with the ones that I told you to fast from in the last show and look at what can we replace them in. Well, one of the things I talked about was the law of polarity. The law of polarity is one of the laws that precedes the law of attraction. So that really means anything that, has a negative side, we can flip it over and look at the polar opposite, right? So with these negative habits, we can do the same thing. And I briefly touched on it last week. So now I want to give you some specific examples of ways that we can take these five, flip them over, and integrate a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking, a new way of acting, a new way of all of these things. So the first one was fast from complaining. Just stop complaining about everything, right? So what would we put in its place? Well, one of the things that I really suggest is that you find the good in everything. You have to know, and maybe this has something to do with your belief system, and maybe it's always a good time to examine your belief system and what beliefs do you have? Where did they come from? What is the foundation for those beliefs? Because we all have beliefs that are, truth and relative truth, right? So find the good in everything. Good is omnipresent. Good is everywhere present. So if there's good in everything, what you can do when you find yourself complaining is examine every event, every situation, every circumstance, and find the good in it. Look for the good in it. Now, I'm not saying the event, the circumstance, the situation, the thing that happened is a good thing. Okay. I I lost my son. I lost several family members, including a spouse and a father and a mother and all that. Though I'm not saying those things are good. I'm saying what is the good in it? And I took plenty of good out of every of those situations. But you have to form the habit of going in and looking for the good. So this is a new habit you can develop. You're going to fast from complaining, form the habit of finding the good in every situation, circumstance, and event. It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. Go look for it. Find the good. What good can I take out of this? What growth is for me in this? Because that growth is good, is going to serve you well. So that's one thing we can do there. Number two was fast from judgment and condemnation. Well, we do this all the time, and we're always judging, we're always condemning, and we're, you know, it's going to tie in with number five there, which is towards ourselves. But let's just look at outwardly for a moment. Go out of your way to praise and compliment sincerely other individuals, even other situations and events. To after you find the good, to compliment that good. This is part of, and I could build a whole course on it. This is part of being a person of increase. We could say something nice, right? But we don't. We keep it to ourselves. We just move on our way. Maybe it's the grocer in the grocery market, or the clerk that has been on his or her feet all day at Christmas time in the retail shop, or the stranger that we pass by that looks like maybe they're having a bad day, but isn't that judgment, right? Maybe they're not. Maybe that's some work that you need to do internally. The bottom line is find something nice to say sincerely, not flattery. That doesn't get you anywhere, but a sincere compliment. Really, being a person of increase is about making someone else's day better simply because they have crossed your path. If we can find the good in everything, we're going to get really good about finding the good in others, no matter outward appearances, right? So find that good. You're practicing it anyway, and compliment that good. Praise that good. You can even start by silently blessing the other person, blessing them on their way. And and really, when you get in the habit of looking for the good and finding this good, it's easy to compliment, and that's the other side. That is not flattery because you're going to point out to something to somebody that maybe that they have taken for granted, and maybe they are having a bad day, and you just said, "You know what? You stand back. I wish you could stand over on this side of the counter and see the way your smile lights up this whole place and space." They smile every day as part of their job, right? Well, compliment them on that. You will make their day and you're going to feel good about it. And when you're feeling good about it, you're going to attract more good into your life. All right. Number three was fast from negative thoughts. Right. Sometimes it's hard to do. We're bombarded. If you're somebody, I shut off the news a long time ago, but if you're somebody that listens to the news, to media, you're on the computer, you're getting bombarded. I don't care where you are, even if you shut it off, you're getting bombarded with negativity. We think negative thoughts. We embellish those thoughts. We have opinions about those thoughts. We go back to judgment about those things that get poured into our consciousness, but fast from those negative thoughts. Stay away from just cancel, cancel, and move. Number what we can replace it with is to take some time to create some affirmative statements that are in alignment with what we want to be, do, and have in our lives. And I invite you to make an appointment with yourself to spend about 20, 30 minutes just really writing some affirmative statements down. And this is going to tie in with gratitude that we talk about next, but we can make affirmative statement. I'm so happy and grateful that I am breathing clean air. We know that so many people in the world are affected by fires, right? Let's be grateful for the air that we breathe. But how do you want to show up in the world? What do you want as an individual, as a small business owner in your corporate environment? What do you want to be, do, and have? Write affirmations about being the person that you want to experience and wants to experience the end game, the goal, right? The desire, and write affirmations affirming them now. The subconscious mind only works in the present tense. So instead of moving to negative thoughts about everything, you make this list and then you pull out your favorites. You look at it a day later and you say, "Oh, that one really resonates with me. I am so happy and grateful that endless good now comes to me in endless ways and that I am a magnet for health, wealth, and success." And just develop some and then take your favorite ones, or if you're working on a specific aspect of character, write those down on an index card, two or three, and carry them with you. You have a negative thought, you have a negative situation that came up in the work environment, pull it out of your pocket, read it over and over again a few times, take some deep breaths, enter into the energy, the vibration, the frequency of your affirmation. It'll work wonders in helping you to really kickstart this new habit of affirming your good and getting away from negative thought. Number four was fast from thinking about what you don't have, fast from thinking about lack and limitation. All right. And we do that through the power of thanksgiving. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Get in the habit of doing this every day. Have a separate notebook, call it your gratitude journal. Most of society is catching on. You can find these in the dollar store now, or any office supply store. Or all you need is a notebook, a piece of paper, and just list 10 things that you're grateful for every single day. And see what you notice, what you do have in your life. Be aware of the good that you have. Look around you and see your good and realize that There are so many people on this planet that don't even have a tenth of what you have. So get in the habit of taking your focus off what you don't have, be grateful for what you do have, and affirm the desired state as a reality now. I'm so happy and grateful for my health, wealth, and prosperity, right? And number 5 was fast from all the negative self talk. Can you see how these are all intertwined, how they all relate to each other? What you would replace number 5 with is going back to number 1 and finding the good in you. If we're really focusing on that as a habit. Yeah, I always beat myself up all day long. I tell myself how dumb I am, how what a loser I am, and blah, blah, blah. Well, you got to change that. So if we go back to number 1 and we're finding the good in everything, what is the good in you? Find that good in you. Find those good qualities and characters. There's a chapter in Jack Canfield's book, the success principle, and he says to make a list of 100 things that you have been successful at in your life. Go all the way back to a childhood. I learned how to ride a bike. Well, this is the same kind of thing. Find all that good in you and write it out. I am so happy, and let's stick with gratitude. I am so happy and grateful that I am smart enough to know better. I am so happy and grateful I am learning more every day. This will help you get away from all the negative self-talk all the time, finding the good in you and celebrating it. Celebrating you, celebrating each and every win, celebrating the time that you have spent listening to this success and personal development and professional development podcast, because that's all the time we have today. I love talking about this stuff. I love helping my listeners. Don't forget, if you listen to this show, you got a free session with me coming. Successappointment.com gets you on my calendar, and we'll talk about what's going on in your life. I'll help you see where you're stuck. Maybe you're not stuck. You just want to talk about what's next and how to form that, how to pull it out of the invisible world of non-form and into the world of form. So let's have a conversation. Successappointment.com. Hey, I'm still looking for a few people that want to make the entrepreneur lifestyle their own, generate an income from anywhere in the world using a laptop and phone. And no, you don't have to have a podcast, but you do have to be a big thinker. You have to have a burning desire to generate over $10,000 a month or more, and you have to commit to a couple hours a day. All right. So it's a part time thing. You can do this and you can generate that six figure, or have step into the potential to generate that six figure. But hey, we can talk about that too. Go to successocean.biz, successocean.biz. And I recently posted a new video in there, tells you a little bit about more about that. Successocean.com is for individuals, small businesses, corporations. There's some forms in there if you want to tell me about a little bit about what's going on, or if you want to explore keynote speaking, coaching programs, consulting programs, mentorships, that kind of thing. Either way, you can find it all too at thegenesisfrequency.com. For now, I really want to thank you for listening to this show and coming back. And if you're here for the first time again, welcome in, welcome to the group, welcome to the club. Leave me a comment, please, and share this. Tell other people about this show and what you got out of it. For now, you've been listening to the Genesis Frequency and Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, and I wish for you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.